Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Dog and Pony Show. If you're asking yourself, is it 4 o'clock in the morning right now? You'd be correct. Because my eyes went ping at about 3:30 and I could not go back to sleep. And of course I had to pee. So decided might as well just do this first test of the morning and be done with it, and then I can go sit on the couch and watch Harry Potter. So I am going to be testing with another first response today, mainly just because I bought a ton of them yesterday. So I have already collected my sample. And I'm gonna do better this time about keeping track of the time. Alright, so we got a clean, fresh test. I think I'm gonna dip it for 10 seconds. I'm not showing you my urine. 8, 9, 10. Okay. I always kind of like stir it around, like, so it'll soak up all of the good HCG. Okay, so you can see it's processing. And this one I will give 5 minutes. So, just as a recap of yesterday I was 13 DPO, and the first time I tested with a first signal, which is the Walmart brand, and the test initially, when I read it, I don't think it had fully processed and the dye hadn't quite settled. So I initially read it as a negative, then like 2 minutes later I was like, well, there's a very, very faint line, which is all too reminiscent of this time in July, the very beginning of July, when pretty much the exact same scenario happened. I was 13 DPO, got a positive pregnancy test. Spoiler alert, it ended in a chemical pregnancy. So here we are again, and it's just like, you know, I don't really know what to think. I am definitely cautiously optimistic, or at least I'm really trying to be. It's like my body's trying to get pregnant, so like, okay, so like worst case scenario is we, you know, it ends up with another chemical pregnancy or whatever. Now I'm kind of questioning whether or not we should give it a bit more time, or if we should still just move forward with our IVF plan, because it's like, you know, my husband brought up, and I hadn't really thought about this, but like, we've conceived 2 cycles in a row. The 2 cycles out of the last 3 months that we have tried, we've conceived. So I still definitely think that losing the weight, and definitely I think having my insulin resistance under control because of the keto diet has been kind of the game changer for me. So I will go bright and early this morning. I'll drive up to Gainesville to my clinic and have my first beta drawn. I anticipate it to be super, super low, so I'm not even like really worried at all about what that number is going to be, because it's going to be low. And you know, the first beta is very arbitrary, it doesn't really tell you much. It's going to be like the second and third ones, because they're looking for it to double every 48 to 72 hours. So we will more than likely go back on Saturday. And I'm hoping that since I'm going to my clinic to have these drawn, as opposed to just having them drawn at a lab locally, that I'll get the results faster, because my clinic runs all of their own labs in-house. They don't send them out, so I'm hoping I'll get the results the same day, but I won't hold my breath. So I'm gonna give this a couple more minutes and I'll be back. And we're back. I was smart this time and actually set a timer while I was waiting. I'm really nervous, but I'm hoping that it's a little bit darker than yesterday. And it actually looks lighter than yesterday's. Like kind of a lot lighter, maybe. And this is why they tell you to stop testing once you get a positive. Because this is why I'm not reassured by this at all. So that's cool. Well, I guess we'll see what the next few days hold. All right, I will update more later. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Just popping on for a quick update from this morning. So this morning took my test, took first response, and the line was definitely lighter than yesterday's. So I took my first response yesterday at about 2 p.m. and I took the first response this morning at about 4 a.m. because I woke up at 3:30 and couldn't go back to sleep. So they really say technically you shouldn't really test for progression anyway, but you should definitely, if you're going to, definitely test at the same time of day. So I was trying to hold on to that a little bit and not get too discouraged. And one of my friends also pointed out that, there's so much variance between test to test, especially when it's such an early pregnancy. And she pointed out between my two tests, and I'll actually, I'll put a photo in here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But not only was the test line lighter on today's test than yesterday's, but the control line was even lighter. So, it is not an exact science by any stretch of the imagination. So, I've kind of been, internally freaking out all day. So I drove up to Gainesville this morning and had my beta drawn. I also had them draw my progesterone. I was really happy that they agreed to do that. And I just got the results back, and my beta is 8, which is, honestly, I feel like 8 is literally the lowest it could possibly be for them to actually consider you pregnant. I feel like the level is between 5 to 7, they say it's indeterminate or something. And so I'm an 8. And I gotta say, who could ever possibly be so relieved by such a dreadfully low number? I'm kind of relieved. I was so sure after this morning's test that they were gonna call and be like, yeah, your beta's negative. I was so sure. But for right now, I'm pregnant. And I hate kind of thinking of it that way, but that's really all I can do at this point. My progesterone came back at 13.4, which was really, really good. Well, really, really good for me. They like it to be above 10. So I am happy with 13.4. They're also going to refill my progesterone for me, which I was kind of worried about because the progesterone I'm taking right now is basically left over from when my OB had prescribed it to me. And I don't have any refills. And understandably, providers don't really like to renew other providers' orders. So since, my OB prescribed this, a lot of times they'd be like, yeah, you need to call your OB for that. But my OB isn't really managing this pregnancy currently. So it's just kind of like a big, hairy ordeal. But they're going to go ahead and give me a new prescription for progesterone. So that's a huge weight off of my shoulders. And I will go back on Monday instead of Saturday. I'll go back on Monday for another beta. And I think that that's probably really just to give it more time to go up, or do whatever it's going to do. So I'm really glad that she called when she did, because literally I had another pregnancy test in my hand and was getting ready to open it. So I have decided I'm not testing again until Saturday or Sunday. It's just, which sucks because I literally spent $50 on pregnancy tests yesterday at the store, but it's just no good for me. Like, I don't know. I would almost like to be blissfully ignorant, to be perfectly honest. I know a lot of women, like, they just need to know. Like, one way or another, they need to know. And with this, I've just been through this so many freaking times. I just want to try to be blissfully ignorant and think that everything's going to turn out fine, and not spend the next 4 days obsessing about the lines on this pregnancy test. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to give all the tests back to Chris. He's going to have to hide them again, which sucks because he didn't want to tell me, but he ended up telling me where his hiding spot was, so now he's going to have to find a new one. But, so all things considered, I'm happy. So thank you for coming along on this ride. I had the dumbest thought earlier, and, kind of, obviously doing all of these videos, I'm really putting myself out there, and I feel like very much in a way that I never have before. But, I had the thought, when I was pretty down at the time, and I was thinking, it's going to be another chemical pregnancy. It's not going to work out. And in that moment, I just felt so stupid for, like, putting all of this out there so soon, I guess. Like, why did I post that video? Because, we just went through this 2 months ago, and thinking that everyone's going to be like, why does she keep doing this? And as hard as it is, like, this is my truth. This is my reality right now. And it is not sunshine and roses. I've never had sunshine and roses. So I think that it is authentic to put this out there, and it's ridiculous of me to feel stupid about sharing something like this that's so personal, even if it doesn't have a happy ending. Not to be like a Debbie Downer about it, but that's just kind of how I feel. I also feel like my hair is frizzy as hell. Doesn't help that I'm sitting against a light-colored wall, but thanks, Florida. Thank you for the humidity. Anyway, so that's just kind of how I'm feeling and where I'm at. Overall, right now I'm feeling okay. Talk to me on Sunday. So I think I'll wrap that up for today, and I appreciate everyone's like well wishes and support and prayers and good vibes. It honestly, it has been really incredible. Really, really incredible. For someone who is, I tend to be fairly, private's not the right word because obviously I'm doing this, but maybe solitary. I'm kind of a solitary person. I value like my space and quiet and just feeling so supported by everyone that I know, by people that I don't know, and having been able to forge like really, really like important relationships through people that I have met on YouTube and on, the fertility friend forums, that has been so unexpected for me. So unexpected. But I'm very, very grateful. So hang in there with me, guys. Please. All right. I hope everyone has a really good wrap up to their week and an even better weekend. And I will be keeping you updated as I have more information. All right. Bye.